You know what? It's getting a little annoying to hear artificial general intelligence, AGI, is going to be one of the biggest threat and existential crisis like a nuclear bomb for humanity. I think what is the biggest thing is going to be disinformation. And what we are looking at is massive amount of disinformation, a new era of disinformation created by artificial intelligence. Let's find out. Hi, I'm Junaid, neurocritical care, stroke, and epilepsy specialist, and today we're going to talk about one of these papers that honestly is okay, but one of the key things that I wanted to bring it forth for my viewers is understanding how we're going to live in the era of disinformation 2.0, and one of the things is in the age of AI, and this 2.0 resonates to how artificial intelligence is going to change this. Now, before we get into this, I want to give some foundational concepts of what we understand as far as artificial intelligence, information, etc., is going through. So, what you have to understand is information lies on the second step of the chain of continuum of this learning when you go from data to knowledge to wisdom. Now, what artificial intelligence, the fodder that it creates is data, and we have talked about it before. It's more importantly, it's called big data. That big data analyzes tons and tons of this data and then turns it into a prediction model and literally predicts the quick brown, the AI will predict fox. And that's how it actually does that. This whole about prediction, and it turns that data officially into information. What generative AI does, which is the chat GPT, the models and everything, it tunes it up to 1000%. It just makes so much easier to bring out information, which is basically just a collection of data reorganized, generated in the way you want it. And this artificially generated information is going to be a very big issue moving forward. And more, unfortunately, how humans learn is turn this big data, which is this, into information, then turns into knowledge, and turns into, I don't know what freaking wisdom is going to come through this, but at the end of the day, this is what we're talking about. So therefore, it's extremely understand this information continuum, how we're going to move through this. The other big thing that's to understand is that it is not really the bots. We'll keep talking about, okay, this is going to be the artificial intelligence bots. It is, unfortunately, humans are primarily responsible for spread of misleading information. And that is just key importance for us to understand, especially in this day and age. Please do not forward anything that is, not verified. And unfortunately, if it takes time to verify, take your time. Do not forward it. Unfortunately, as we can see, false news travels faster than true stories. And this is unfortunate, and it's not just faster, it's 10.7 times faster, and it is mainly we as human beings are responsible for it, not bots. Well, before we dive into, let's go ahead with two more examples. I mean, recently there was this fake picture that was online that Pentagon was attacked, and this image was being, fake image was basically being circulated over the internet, and then ended up basically crashing the S&P 500 for some time. Now, this is not new, of course. I mean, in the Roman days, murals were painted of, generals coming back from victory. Apparently, they were actually, have lost the, battle. Over here, again, I mean, I get it, artificial intelligence is being blamed for, but I can make a better image in freaking Photoshop. So the question really was not that. The question really is that the reaction to it, the ability to time it, target it, and the ability for us to not distinguish it and have to pay real world consequences in terms of S&P 500 dropping on the news of possible attack on the Pentagon. And this is where the real problem lies in terms of information problem. Now let's look at a second bigger problem. In this week, actually, literally I think 2-3 days ago, Meta announced their Voicebox. Now again, this is what we call zero-shot learning in Voicebox. What it means is that while I'm actually doing it, they can take a very small sample of my audio and then convert any text into a deep fake of my audio. This is again not new. But what difference does it make is that it's faster, better, cheaper, and it's actually going to be readily accessible because how they have actually created this.
The research team at Meta AI is excited to share our work on Voicebox, an all-in-one generative speech model. It's the first model that can generalize speech generation tasks which it was not specifically trained to accomplish. And it does so 20 times faster than current models. It uses a new approach to learn from raw audio and transcriptions from which it can create various outputs. Let's take a closer look at what it can do. Voicebox can take input text and output audio in a multitude of different voices.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
It can also generate a stylized speech output based on text input and a short reference audio clip.
The country's lush forests and diverse ecosystems offer. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
This could one day give virtual assistants and NPCs more natural-sounding voices. Style transfer enables transposition of vocal characteristics and background noise from a reference clip
offer ample opportunities to observe and learn about the vast
to a target audio clip with text input.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
It can also be used to produce audio of a voice in another language.
Los frondosos bosques y los diversos ecosistemas del país. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Someday, this could help people communicate in a more authentic way, even across language barriers. For editing, Voicebox can remove background noise from a clip. Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to show you by resynthesizing a specific segment. Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to show you and correct misspoken words via text-to-speech, eliminating the need to re-record. Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to show you. These are just a few examples of how Voicebox can perform across a variety of tasks. Like to hear a sample of what Voicebox can do firsthand? Well, you already have, because all of the voiceover featured in this video was generated using Voicebox. Learn more about this exciting step forward in generative AI research on our website.
So 3 things from that. A very short clip, that's the term, 20, and then you're going to hear in the next sentence that it's going to be 20 times faster, and then eventually this personalization of the audio you want for a voice assistant is going to generate a lot of problems for lonely young men. Anyways, let's get back to the paper, and I just wanted for you to understand that how we are going into these issues moving forward, and this information honestly is going to be a bigger threat than AGI, artificial general information. And again, interestingly, it comes from the company Meta, which is basically Facebook, and we have seen the 2 biggest scandals of misinformation in our lifetime that is coming from Meta and Facebook in the recent past. I don't want to hash that out altogether, but anyways, this information in the age of AI is going to have 2 major issues. One of them is the cybercrime. I mean, anyone, if you go look at the survey, I am worried about cybercrime. Everyone else is worried about credit card theft, login information, phishing email to get information, blah blah blah. People's have paid even just getting locked out of their iPhones and paid tons and thousands of dollars just to get back their iCloud account and photos. I mean, that's just pure cybercrime. And of course, the second biggest one is disinformation, and these are the 2 biggest threats as far as being secure on the internet is concerned. And then the evolution of disinformation, as I told you previously as well, that there has been a significant value of classical disinformation all the way if it's not even digital. We have been doing it, unfortunately, for a long time. The classical cyber threats have been mainly about financial and intellectual properties, and then basically extorting them for money or power or whatever. Again, some people have weaponized it. There are actually countries in the world that I know of, and are actually unfortunately used to belong to one of them, have weaponized this cybercrime disinformation as a tactic for political gain. Long story short, what we have seen is that disinformation reach and the believability is through the social network is going to go increase exponentially as we have the tools to make, as you saw in the Voicebox recently, to make it more believable. And that's one problem. And most importantly, if you know and you understand that this is not believable, then it becomes even bigger issue. What do you freaking believe in? Because if this is the highest quality of audio that generates so beautifully, so convincingly about a person, and I say, if let's say if my mom calls and and I have heard an AI generated voice of my call of my mom, now the question really is, am I going to believe when my mom actually calls? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? How are we going to really distinguish reality from disinformation? And this is going to be a very, very huge problem as we go along. I mean, Disinformation 1.0, that was very nice. I mean, I wish we were back then, right, when we used to just fabricate false information, and the main thing we used to do is basically for monetary incentives and political agenda. What we are getting into is Disinformation 2.0, where disinformation would become more targeted and personalized. So you can even more targeted. I mean, we have Cambridge Analytica scandal, in which the whole country's middle votes or undecided votes were swayed from one place to another. Brexit people say that it still is a disinformation campaign. I don't care about these political issues, but in the end of the day, when you have this level of personalization that your mentor's voice is going to be used to persuade you to do something else or to buy something, is going to be exponential. And it's not hard, right? I mean, I say on LinkedIn, like, hey, this person actually helped me, or that person helped me, or I learned from this person, etc. This is for me, at least, is a very simple public knowledge, and my audios and videos that my students are seeing can be available for anyone. So idea is that when you have this level of personalization, persuasion, things are going to be very different as we go along. Became very difficult to distinguish from real news, and its creation and distribution more accelerated by AI. Again, it is getting faster, cheaper, easier. And then this Voicebox was 20 times faster. Believe it or not, we see it all the time in different places. And this is going to be even accelerated. We have seen it already on text, write in the style of, the ChatGPT will write that particular. Now you can see the voice box generate the audio in style of, and then you can just fill in the blank, Obama, whatever. And then more than soon, you will be able to see generate the video in style of, because again, some of these things are becoming extremely good in terms of producing this. I mean, if you have enough GPU power, you can probably do it now as well. But at the end of the day, it is going to get faster, better, cheaper as we go along from 5 to 10 years from now. And one of the phrases that I've heard recently has been really sort of hard to crack. And this is what we call complete disconnection or complete re-engineering of reality itself. And that is very different than fake. Fake was basically, this is real and there is fake. Then you can distinguish it at the end of the day. When you have complete rewiring of reality through a generative AI process, we are living into a very different, I don't know, the word reality doesn't even come to mind over here, because I don't know what we're living in. Because reality in itself, as it's supposed to be, is distinguished through fakeness as well. So it's unfortunately very interesting times we're living in, and it's going to be even interesting as we go along. One of the few things that this particular journal points typically is that attackers aims to find weak spots, and then they're mainly talking about phishing attacks, more convincing disinformation using AI-based techniques, ChatGPT, Daily, subtle perturbations, bringing this subtle anxiety, bringing your temperature inside your body a little bit higher, so you are able to do something that you are not supposed to do. You are not that person to lash out, to go to a stupid rally or something. But the idea is that you subtly perturb them, and that's the whole idea behind anxiety as well. And honestly, I mean, one of the things that I'm seeing is over here is related to many other things, and I just don't want to bring it out in this particular video, but a lot of anxiety is being developed. And then eventually what does? The biggest thing it does is that this main cause of this disinformation is basically demoting real news. Basically, their goal is sometimes not even creating fake shit. The goal is to undermine reality itself. And that's a bigger problem in some situations. Spread mission using AI maximizes its influence on the network. And then again, this is not really about social bot. It's just so convincing that the human themselves are actually sharing it, as I said in the previous video. Social engineering, again, this is one of the best ways to actually bring about phishing attacks as well. You send an email from your boss, it reads like your boss's tone, and then etc. And this is called human based. Then of course there's technical base as well, and this is one of the ways that the cybersecurity aspect of the, which I actually pay special attention to, because we are getting high trust certification for our applications, because we are that concerned about cybersecurity in our whole technology stack moving forward. They actually talk about, again, the phishing and disinformation. I'm going to just take this evolution one thing. Phishing used to be, right, again, saying from the email, etc. This is again getting a little harder when you are not just getting the email in the tone of your boss or your relative or anything. You are getting a voice message, a voice note on your iMessage from Indian voice of your mom or dad to send them $10,000. This personalized, targeted. Again, it is hard, and we have to get careful. Disinformation 2.0 will be, again, same thing, personalized, targeted, and AI boosted. The minute you have these kind of information, again, I showed you that Pentagon blast, which is, again, all stupid. Again, it could have been done on Photoshop, but again, it is just getting faster, easier, better to do this shit that was not possible before. They have recommended multiple layers. For example, the first layer is social network layer, ISP layer, device layer, and user layer. I mean, we have to train each one of us. As a matter of fact, one of the things that when I talk to my 80-year-old, and then when I showed her some images and etc., and the one thing I question is that the first thing, do you think it's real? Do you think it's real? Because you have to repeat that into their mind. Because I get like duped, and I'm gonna be honest with you. And it produces some sort of anxiety in looking at some of this stupid forwards from WhatsApp, that you are actually, in a state of mind that just makes you unproductive. Because again, sometimes what is really the purpose of this is basically, at the end of the day, again, demoralizing. Depersonalizations is one of those aims as well that you have to understand. So you have to be very careful how you actually psychologically and emotionally respond to these kind of disinformation campaigns as well. Again, I'm not saying everything is coming out as disinformation. Of course, there is, of course, truth, and people are sharing good information, but it's getting definitely harder. And we as users, or actually more importantly, teach our young ones that they have to be very, very improved in understanding, and this raising awareness and training, responsible news sharing is extremely important. And then of course, device level, we have MDM accounts in our whole company. All employees have to go through, antivirus, etc. It seems like an annoying problem. Everyone just it is kind of bullshit, like change your password every 3 months, etc. Whatever you need to do to be safe, and we are doing it at NeuroCare AI. You're going to see in all of our applications that's going through. Again, interesting times we live in. We are looking at desynthesizing and resynthesis of reality itself. And this information is, in my opinion, the epitome of human existence. It literally erodes the real problems, the reality itself. And that, in my opinion, is much, much, much bigger problem than a nuclear attack and a general artificial intelligence. Thank you.